It is a great honor and a privilege to welcome Jean Singer to present this year's Damon Runyon-Jake Wetchler Award for Pediatric Innovation. Jean has been a wonderful partner of ours for a number of years, supporting several Damon Runyon scientists in partnership with us, and we are thrilled to have created this award in Jake's honor now 3 years ago. So Jean is Jake's mother, and I'm glad to turn it over to you to present this year's award.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Young. It's my honor and my privilege to be here today to present this award. Before I present it, I'd like to explain a little bit about why it is that we're giving it, and that takes us to Jake, my son, and a little bit about his fight against cancer. I remember the day when Jake was first diagnosed. We were in Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. We were on the oncology floor, and we had just received the news from the doctors that he had Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 4. The doctors had gone. It was kind of silent in the room. Jake's dad and I stood by his bed and just searching for what to say. We were at a total loss of words, because what do you say to your beloved 18-year-old when he's just been diagnosed with cancer? Jake, on the other hand, was never at a loss for words. He picked up his journal. It was a lovely leather-bound book that his grandparents had given him for his 18th birthday. And he had used it to write down his thoughts, his poems, and his favorite philosophical passages. And he opened it up and he read to us a quote from Moby Dick. "If a man made up his mind to live, mere sickness could not kill him." And that was Jake. That was his attitude. He was courageous, he was confident, he was strong in his convictions. He was a poet and a joker, and it was all kind of wrapped up in this chiseled frame of a manly young man. That was also the attitude with which Jake fought cancer. So Jake was the kid who would blast the theme song from Rocky from his hospital room, and the nurses would come in. They would always be surprised because they'd see Jake on the floor doing one-handed push-ups. When Jake had surgery, he refused to be wheeled into the operating room. He would always insist on walking under his own power. And one day, one of the surgeons asked him why, and he said, "Well, because I can. But when we get to the operating room, I'll let you guys do all the work." Whoever walked into Jake's room was greeted with a smile, a "come on in," and if they were really lucky, one of Jake's inimitable quips. I used to love the way that he would greet the new nurses when there was a shift change. The nurses at CHOP were absolutely wonderful. They were so cheerful. All the time they would walk in and they would say, "Hi, my name is Celeste and I'm going to be your nurse." And Jake would say, "Hi, my name is Jake and I'm going to be your patient." So it was just the kind of thing that made everyone smile. But while Jake was up for the fight, the drugs that he had to fight his cancer were not. Jake received 8 cycles of a drug protocol called Be a Cop, 7 different drugs. And I remember one of them because of the way that the nurses carried it into the room. It's called a Topicide. And it comes in this heavy glass bottle, and they would put gloves on their hands so they wouldn't get any of it onto their skin. And you could tell that this was really nasty stuff. And so they would take this really nasty substance and they would hook it onto an IV pole and they would run it through a tube into my son's chest. I remember reading the informed consent for that drug and all the side effects: nausea, vomiting, decrease in red and white blood cells, hair loss, diarrhea, numbness, tingling, clumsiness, mouth sores, and finally, a new cancer or leukemia resulting from this treatment. It's shocking when the drug that's supposed to save your child's life has a known probability of giving him a second cancer. But that was the standard of care. We felt like we were in good hands, and that's what we did. Jake, true to his fighting spirit, beat the Hodgkin's lymphoma. This is Jake, in fact, when he's in remission. One of our best days was when he was done with the chemo and he was done with the radiation. And Jake, maybe you can tell, he was kind of a physical guy. He was a second-degree black belt in Tang Soo Do. He loved to do physical things. And one of the things that he really swore that he would do the minute he got the port removed that they had used to administer the chemo was a shoulder roll. So I just want to share with you, there we go. So that was Jake, just modest little me doing a shoulder roll after 8 cycles of Be a Cop. So that fall, Jake headed off to college as a freshman, a young man with a passion for the study of philosophy. But when he came home on spring break, something was wrong. His platelets were low. We went back into surgery. He had all kinds of tests, and the doctors discovered that he had acute myeloid leukemia. So in all likelihood, the drugs that were supposed to save Jake's life gave him a second cancer, and the AML took his life. So I share this with you for a very particular reason, and that is because it speaks volumes about why the work that all of you do is so, so important. I listened today to all the presentations that were being made, and honestly, I understood very little. But what I took away from it was a very powerful energy and commitment to understanding these problems and to solving them. And that gives me great hope that one day we will have the medicines that we need to save beautiful lives like Jake's. So the reason why we give this award is because we want to recognize the impact that pediatric researchers have on the lives of kids, and not just kids, but their parents, their families, their friends, all the people who hold them dear. And we want to say a profound thank you to all of the researchers who have decided to dedicate their efforts to pediatrics. We need as many of you as we can get. So for everyone here, if you haven't already thought about it, this is my pitch. Think about the research that you're doing and whether there's an application to pediatrics. Whether you're working on a particular gene target or a disease mechanism, or you're doing basic research or some sort of novel technology, is there some way that this could be applied to pediatric cancer? Because if you want to do something that's going to have impact in this world, help save the life of a child. And I do believe that with all of the talent and the commitment from people like yourselves, that one day we will be able to make Jake's quote from Moby Dick come true. And that if a child makes up his mind to live, mere cancer will not kill him. So thank you very much for listening. With that, I just want to say first a tremendous thank you to Lorraine and Young and Claire and all of the absolutely amazing people at the Damon Runyon Foundation. You have been just fabulous partners over the year, and we could not be more fortunate to be working with you. They're not here today, but Lucy Godley and Peter Cole are our reviewers, so please pass on the word to them that we are so grateful for the time and effort that they put into this. I want to say a special thank you to Beth Dominguez, who is in the back. Yes, I will embarrass you, Beth. My dear friend who has been with me at the Jake Wetchler Foundation every single step of the way. Thank you so much, Beth. And I also want to say thank you to all of the researchers who have submitted applications for this award. I heard from our reviewers that it was an incredibly strong group of submissions, and I thank you all, and we're grateful to all of you for the work that you're doing in pediatric cancer. So now for the award. So this is a $5,000 award to the researcher whose research has the greatest potential for impact in the prevention, diagnosis, or treatment of one or more pediatric cancers. And the key to this thing is it's not restricted. The recipient can use it on whatever he or she wants. So I have the award right here. And I'm honored this year to say and to give this award to Challice Bonifant.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, as I said, this is an unrestricted award, and if you want to use it on lab supplies, you are perfectly able to. However, I would recommend using it on something else. So, if you need a vacation, take a vacation with it. Okay, that really struck a chord, right? Really? Mice. If you want to buy mice, you can buy mice with it. Is that dedication? Anyway, we are so grateful for the work that you do. Thank you so much. Here you go.